All right, so we're ready to make your flip flap card. This is what your packet should look like. Okay, let me show you a couple. This is one I got in a swap. So you pull and it flips open. Okay, this is one I made at a make and take thing at a stamp show. I like that one too. And then this one is the one you'll make using our Ladybug set. Okay, so cute. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. All right, so we have our card base, and you have the black. That can actually all go together right away. Okay, so we'll just give that a fold. And, well, my bone folder was here. And I don't see it, so we'll just use the edge of a block. That works just as well. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the black on the card front. Okay. Now you should have two pieces of white, and they are not the same size. One is skinnier than the other. Okay, so you're going to use the wider piece on the front, and this one goes on the inside, but we might want to do a little stamping before we do that. So let's tuck that. And then I tried to layer these. You'll see how they kind of work together. Okay, so there's your little inside one that gets covered up. This is the outside one, and they layer like this, and they are not the same size, so make sure you kind of check that all out before you get started. All right. All right, this ends up being your puller, and we'll get to that in a second. And this is our scrap for our ladybug wings. So let's get out some Saffron in the flower from the ladybug set. Okay. And we'll just add some flowers here. Like this. And maybe one on the inside corner, like that. Okay. Then there, I'm gonna try and keep my placemat clean. All right, so let's get the little flower center, and we'll just add a center in there, a center in there. There we go. And if they don't line up perfect and it bothers you a little bit, just take whatever ink is left on there and just kind of fill it in so it's not stark white. It'll be fine. Okay. So that's those. This is now, I think, ready to go on the inside. So let's put that in there, and that will be out of the way. Okay. So put that on the inside of the card. Like that. There. So now that's done. All right, now we're going to add some leaves. And I'm going to just clean up this ink pad. It got kind of messy. There we go. All right. So a little garden green with our nice big leaf here. And I'm going to just grab my mat here so that there we go. There's a leaf. We'll get a leaf in here like that. And we'll tuck one. This will be mostly covered, but that's all right. We'll put one over here. Like that. Okay, then we want one on here for our ladybug to hang out on. So let's ink that back up. And so that's your bigger of the two white squares, okay? And your leaves should fit on there all the way. There we go. All right. There. Done with garden green. Done with the leaf. Let's see what's next. Let's do some leaves and let's stamp our little piece in here. So in here we need our ladybug. One of the ladybugs. So we are going to have two. So we're going to put this one on the inside with the greeting. Okay. So this one we stamp in black and then we fill in her shell with the real red. And then on our scrap, we end up, let's do the real red here. So we grab her shell and line that up. And it's a little tricky when I can't get right over the top of it. How'd I do? Not too bad. All right. So those can go. Now on this piece, if I pay attention to where my punch is going to go, I'm going to want to punch the stamp those wings way down on this end. So we'll get those inked up in real red and put those down here like this. And then we'll grab the spots and stamp those in the Memento black, like this. Okay. I do need to, there we go. Okay. Nope, I'm not quite ready to put those away. All right, so we're going to take the You Can Bug Me Anytime and stamp that in basic black right up here across the top. That's going to be on the inside. Then I'm going to clean that stamp off and I'm going to ink it again. And I only really need the Bug Me. All right. And I'm just going to stamp that on a little piece of scrap here, like that. And we'll trim that out. All right, where'd my square go with the leaf? Here it is. And just because the leaf is dark and everything, I think we're going to use a nice bright red. That nice bright real red to stamp the little hello in the corner. Okay, so we can stamp that little hello right up there in the corner. Right. Okay. There. All right. I think that's pretty much all of our stamping. So we can get this out of the way. There we go. All right, let's punch out our wings. Hey, Leslie, you didn't really pay attention here. Okay. So when you do that, and you don't want to waste your cardstock and have an extra butterfly, what you're going to do is you're going to cut your cardstock off like that. And then you're going to use a Post-it note so you can get it into the punch and save that cardstock. I should have punched it at the other end. That's all right. There we go. And then you just take the little piece of Post-it note that's stuck there off the back. Good. Okay. So we don't need the Ladybug punch anymore. We do have some other punches we're going to use, but not that one just yet. All right, so I have been liking to give my ladybugs some, just going to give this a little push, make sure we've got some Stella down here. And I just like to have just the spots, not the whole ladybug. I mean, if you like that much Stella and you want to make your whole ladybug sparkly, go for it. But I'm just giving her sparkly spots. Okay, there we go. And we'll do these as well. Okay. Yeah. There we go. All right. Good. So now we can put our ladybug together, right? And I've been using just a very thin bit of glue right here along the very edge of the wings. You don't need much. All right. So we'll put her there. And just hold that for a couple of seconds. And then once it's done, what I've been doing is using my bone folder, which I still don't see here, but that's okay, because we can use the back edge of my scissors. And just to kind of arch those wings just a little bit. See how I just curled them and gave them an arch? Just a little bit, like that. Okay. So now that ladybug can go onto our leaf in whatever direction you want her to be. If you want to see the leaf stem, you might want her over here, whatever. It's all good. We're going to just put a couple of dimensionals on the back of her. Okay, like that. And go ahead and add her. I mean, I'm not sure I would put her, you know, nose diving, but whatever. Here we go. Okay, so she can be right like that. All right, let's trim this out. Now I seem to have taken my good snips to another table. So that's okay. We can use these. It's fine. Okay. That's pretty good. All right, so again, we'll use a little bit of liquid glue because this is going to give me a little bit of wiggle space. The liquid glue gives me a little, I can slide it just a little bit to get it into position where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to just cover up this bug me like that. And see, I can just wiggle it just a tiny until I get it right where I want it. Okay, and that just gives me that a little bit brighter. Okay, so this, now we can start layering our little flaps here. So this cute ladybug goes on the garden green square. Okay, and then this bigger one goes first on the real red and then onto the basic black. Okay. So now we're ready to make the puller and cut the punch the piece that's going to allow the puller to work. All right, so this is going to be your puller. You'll notice that there's a smaller square end, 2 score lines that are close together, and then a longer end. If I did not already do it for you, you're going to want to punch the longer end with a decorative punch that allows you to have a hole. So any of our tag topper punches would be great for this particular job. All right. All right, and yours may be black or it may be red. I'm not really sure. All right, so what we're gonna do is fold this like that on the second crease and then fold this one, all right? So now you're gonna have 2 pieces of tear tape, right? The piece on the front side is gonna go between the 2 little score marks, right here on this skinny flat, right there, okay? And when you flip it this way, you're gonna have a piece on the inside. This is where we anchor it so the flip will happen, right? Okay, so 2 pieces of tear tape, that's all you need, all right? Now, we're getting close. Then you need a punch that, or cut a little rectangle with your trimmer or whatever. The old word window punch would work great. The classic label punch would work great. This was some kind of a label punch. It looks like a torn piece of tape. I don't actually remember its official name. So it doesn't have to be centered, and you can have it kind of over here. But you kind of want it centered top to bottom. So we'll call this, pretty good. We'll just take that out, okay? So now we're almost ready to put this on your card front. Here's what's really important. No adhesive on the side of your hole that's near the card opening side, okay? So you can have adhesive up at the top, adhesive over to the left side, and adhesive on the bottom, but no adhesive to the right of that opening, all right? And you can use just your regular seal adhesive. You can do a little adhesive here, sort of close to the top of the hole, but nothing over here. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little here, and I can put it here. Right, you really want that anchored well, because you don't want you don't want it. People are going to play with this, and you don't want it to come apart. So now you're going to take your flap, all right, with this side up, and you're going to tuck it in, all right, and then it can get arranged like that. Okay. Now, what you want to do before you expose this tear and tape, okay, is kind of get your ribbon in. Well, let me grab that scrap paper again. So what I'm using, and I may have colored yours for you, or I may have forgotten. Again, sorry. And I'm just going to take my light Real Red Blends marker and just lay it on the side. Use the big point and just color that ribbon. Okay, like that. So now my ribbon will show up nicely. And okay, you can just tie a knot, you can do this loop, you can do whatever you feel works best for you, okay? And then once you've got it kind of where you want it and everything, then go back and trim. I wouldn't do that just yet. All right, so you want this near the edge. You don't want it so far out that it's going to interfere with your envelope, okay? Once you get that centered top to bottom, you've got it where you want it, like this. Now you can take this adhesive, this tear tape paper, off. Whoops. And stick it down. Okay, so what you want it to do is stick to this white part of the card front. Okay, you don't want it too close to the other part, so this needs to still move. Okay, if at this point this doesn't move, you warm it all up with your heat tool and figure out where the adhesive is that's being interfering. Okay, all right, so now here's another important piece. Now we're going to put the front on. Okay, this one sticks to this big front square, this red square that's here. I know, usually we say put it on the back of the thing you're sticking down. Not this time. Don't do that, because you may end up with adhesive that will go out and around, and then it will stick, and you don't want that. So what you do want is to put adhesive from that first score line, not too close, but on that first score line, because what you're going to do is you're going to take this left edge and put it just kind of top to bottom, centering, and then just stick that down to all that adhesive. Okay, like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this one, you're going to burnish that a little bit so it'll come off. There we go. All right, so now that we've exposed that tear tape, now we can line this up and roughly center top to bottom, and make sure you're covering your underneath one. Okay, give that a good press. Now when you pull here, that opens and exposes the one underneath. Okay, flip the flap, flip flap card. I hope you, and now would be a good time to then trim these ends. Okay, like that. So you just have a short little puller and it won't bother the envelope. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks so much.